What is up, everybody? Welcome on into Alarm Fantasy Football. I'm your host, Andrew Cooper, along with Howard Bender, and we're talking waivers today. Boy, do we have some problems. Joe Burrow out. A bunch of tight ends are either hurt or failing. We're going to need to clog up some holes here, fix some rosters. But before we do that, as always, Bender, on the start of these shows, how about a quick little drafters draft? What do you say?
I'm definitely in. It's already started. We've already begun here. And, as a reminder to everybody out there, if you guys want to jump in, we are doing drafts on drafters for the next 2 days. So you're going to want to make sure that you get involved over there. There's a QR code there. We'll hide Coop for a quick second here. fantasyalarm.com/draftersbb, or zap that QR code. We'll start off. We've got contained drafts, just family stuff here, right? Good stuff here. fantasyalarm.com/draftersbb, promo code alarm gets you an instant deposit match up to $100. So jump on in, draft with us again, Wednesday and Thursday available. Coop's got the link. I've got the link. So just send either one of us a message and jump in on the fun. So fantasyalarm.com/draftersbb, promo code alarm. And there you go, Coop. Jonathan Taylor, Puka Nacua, back to back.
Puka Nacua is just so much fun. Like, sometimes you just want to have a team of all the most fun guys to watch and just go back to the good old days of, okay, I'm just going to draft whoever is the most exciting and just draft Lamar Jackson, Puka Nacua. I feel like if you just do that, it doesn't go wrong. It doesn't go wrong. So Jonathan Taylor may be a little boring, but he looked good this week. Puka Nacua, that's fun. That's fun. And look at that. Jamar Chase for automatic. Not scared of Jake Browning.
Yeah, not scared at all, which is great to see, right? I mean, I think that we saw Jake Browning, right? We've seen him. Hey, listen, is Jamar Chase going to light it up? But no, I don't think him and Browning are the same as him and Burrow. But at least it's a QB who's been with the team for a couple of years in that system, and they can kind of make that happen together. So I'm perfectly fine, watching all of that happen. I think that's a pretty decent spot. Yeah. Oh, look, it's on me already. Bijan I started with, and where am I going for my second running back? I'll tell you what, with all of the the stuff talking about Jake Browning and whatnot, why not sit there and just invest in Chase Brown, right? And just kind of make that happen. I think that's definitely a spot that I want to where I want to be. Now the question is where do I want to go beyond that? Who am I going to use?
Yeah, we'll talk about Jake Browning in full today when we get to. We're going to go through, as always, on Tuesday, hit on every position: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. We're going to hit on, some streaming defenses and kickers. We're going to answer all your questions in the chat. So I see you guys in the chat already hanging out. If you want to do a drafters draft with us, we're going to do. So this is a whale. This is a contest against a bunch of other people, up to 2,500 people, $4,000 to the winner. But the next couple days, we're going to do family ones again, because those are a lot of fun where we get in with our friends and our members. Shout out to Sigma Chi, the winner from last week. I came in second, Bender. Not a bad showing for me, but I mean, he had Puka, he had Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, he kind of steamrolled us. It was a distant second, but second nonetheless. But good for Victor, man. Victor, a very sharp gamer that jumps in. So if you guys want to jump in with us, be on the stream, get a quick shout out for your performance. We got those set up. So in the Discord, or hit me up on Twitter at Coupe Fiasco, and we'll get you in because it's a lot of fun. And the more family that we're drafting with, the better. I'm on the clock here for 2.
So where are you going?
I mean, hottest player in football, Daniel Jones, probably. No, maybe not. But there are options out here. I'm going to go with the running back, and I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs against the Cleveland Browns. Okay. I think that we could see him. Hopefully, he gets maybe some more targets now that Jaden Reed isn't floating around doing all that gadgety business. The tight end position is gross, dude. I don't even want to look at that, dude.
I will not be investing in Brenton Strange this week.
Get that out of my face, dude.
I'll not be doing that at all. Yeah. I'm just kind of eyeballing as far as like where everybody else is going. I like Nicolas Cage right there in the middle. Oh, well, Justin Jefferson.
Carson,
Are you going to pair him up with Carson Wentz?
in a format like this, something tells me that he's not going to make it to me in this 8-round draft. If this were, maybe tomorrow's draft. Hey, maybe tomorrow's draft where we have 10 people, only 5 players in the whale draft. So no, I don't think I'm going to feel the need to pull the trigger on Carson Wentz in this one.
Okay. All right. I mean, Carson Wentz, he's, hottest name on the waiver wire list. No, he's really not actually the hottest name on the waiver
And
wire
you know
list.
what's crazy though, Bender, is that like when you look at the QB1s from this week, there's nothing too crazy at quarterback. Like of the QB1s in fantasy, we saw Daniel Jones was up there, Russell Wilson was up there, your guy Mac Jones is up there. Spencer Rattler was up there. Like, of course, the names that we know and love are part of that top 12 or so, but at least half of them were guys that if I had said in August Mac Jones was going to be, a QB1 this week and throw 3 touchdown passes, you would have said I was outside of my mind. Right. So
I'll say you're
different
outside
things.
of your mind in a number of different ways anyway, but here we go.
There we go. Hey, you made a couple great calls on the Friday show when we were talking DFS. You said, hey, you know what? On the Sirius XM show, you were like, look, I'm paying down for Mac Jones, 4,000, 3 touchdowns from him. You said you were using Trevor Lawrence. He threw 3 touchdown passes. Not bad, dude. Not bad. Howard Bender. Still got it.
I've done this for a little while, so I've got a couple of things here. So I'm actually, it's kind of funny. I'm loving on my team. So I was working on the DFS watch list actually before this show, and just kind of looking at like all the matchup base. I tell you what, man, that like the Caleb Williams Romo Dunze stack that I'm rocking here. I'm feeling pretty good about it considering what I've seen out of Dallas's defense, for the first 2 weeks of the season. I don't know if Deron Bland is going to be around, so I'm happy with that. The Brock Bowers call, dude, I was waiting for you to grab him when you started talking about the tight ends, like facing Washington, who just gave up all of this work to Tucker Kraft. Is it believable? Is it not believable? You've got the, old and broken Bobby Wagner in the middle of that field. He doesn't scare me at all. So I kind of thought you were going to do the Brock Bowers move.
Nah, I'm a coward. I'm scared. So I didn't do that. I will do this. I will do this. And then I'm also going to do this here. Do I believe?
I just had him queued up. I was going to take him.
It's one of those ones where it's like, I don't even necessarily have to come out and say, I believe in Javonte Williams. It's like, he's getting all the work. And the Cowboys offensive line isn't necessarily as bad as everyone said it was going to be. They've already extended one of their guys there. So Javonte Williams seems to be finding the pay dirt. Even Miles Sanders found the end zone. So Javonte, you got to respect it. You got to respect it.
Listen, one of the things that I said to people, after week 1, I was talking to somebody and I was like, what you got to do is oh, wait, it's going to be coming up on me here. And I'm sitting here sifting through names. The rankings on here are all just kind of screwy. So I'm trying to figure out who I want to use.
The projections they didn't update their projections yet for this week.
Yeah. So I got a little Marvin Harrison in there. You already took away that. So you know what? Here, I'm just going to. Do I want to do it? Do I want to do it? I don't really want to do it. I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. Because he's going for his 50th touchdown pass. Right? We talked about it before. Aaron Rodgers tied. He was 2 away from passing Brett Favre. Metcalf was 2 away from his 50th. Well, now here you go. You got Pittsburgh in a fairly soft matchup this weekend, and why not? Why not fish for that DK Metcalf touchdown? Rodgers is looking for his record, and he's happy to do that with DK, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got to lean into those. With no Jaden Daniels this week, or potentially no Jaden Daniels, it really muddies the water here. I'm glad that guy took Tyler Warren because it gives me the green light to take Juwan Johnson, the hottest tight end in football. Tight end 2 overall in fantasy football right now, behind only Tucker Kraft. Now I got to take a quarterback, which now I feel like I wish I took one earlier. Yeah. It's oogly out here. I guess I'm just gonna do Kyler Murray, I guess. No stack or anything with him. No stack or anything, but he's looked good. He supported his offense. Last week they didn't have to throw much because it was the Carolina Panthers. So I don't know. I'm in. I'm in on Kyler Murray. This guy goes Baker Mayfield. Let's see what Nicolas Cage does here with his beautiful Nicolas Cage picture. Luxurious Nicolas Cage picture. Dak Prescott. Okay.
That's Con Air, Nick Cage?
I think it 100% is. 100% is. He's
All right. Well,
stacking
I'll
up
tell
his
you what.
C-Lamb. I like what he's
So,
done.
Mr. Irrelevant here, Coop. Last pick of this draft, and I think that this would be a great little segue into players who hit for us this past week that we want to celebrate. Hello,
Kenneth
Kenneth
Walker.
Walker.
There he is. So
Come on.
there it is, folks. Get set up at Drafters. Use promo code ALARM. Go to fantasyalarm.com/draftersbb or hit over the talking QR code right now and get set up over there. We're going to be doing drafts tomorrow and Thursday. Anybody who's never drafted with us gets priority. So let us know. But yeah, as you said, time to jump into some waivers. This is what the people want. We just like doing these drafts to get the juices going, kind of get a feel for the slate, what people are doing out there, and the direction things are trending in, which at quarterback and tight end getting kind of ugly. So we got a couple questions. Let's hit the questions in the chat, and then we'll jump into the positions. What do you say, Bender?
Sure, man. That works for me.
First one
Uh,
here,
where do you
Greg
want to go?
Martinez. Greg's going to jump in with us next week on a drafters draft. He said, big dilemma. I got Chase Brown and Jamar Chase. Pick up Browning. JJ and Fields out. Dimes is in for me this week. Other QBs available or Wentz. If you have Danny Dimes, you don't need to go crazy adding a quarterback if it's not super flex. Like, I think you're good with Dimes for now. I mean, he's going to have some bad games, no doubt about it, but so far he's looked good, right?
Yeah, and I don't feel the need to stack Jake Browning with Jamar Chase or Chase Brown. I mean, if you've got those two guys right there and they're going to be must starts for you, why do you want to overinvest in the
Right.
Bengals? This has been a team that's had some trouble starting off the season properly. And I think that Chase Brown's going to get some good run there. And Jamar Chase is a no-brainer start every single week, but you don't have to tether yourself to Jake Browning here. I agree with Coop. I think Danny Dimes is, he's got that rushing upside. He's already poached 3 goal line carries for touchdowns over the first 2 weeks. So I would just kind of rock it with him.
Yeah. I mean, Dimes has been awesome. It's as simple as that. So becoming a member, Mojo wants to know, that should be right where it
Oh,
says
it's super simple. So right there if you're watching us on YouTube, right there, you'll see the title of the stream underneath the video, right? Week 3 waiver wire ads, streams, and stashes. There's a little white button there, or maybe it's darker. I'm in dark mode here. There's a little button there that says join. It's next to the subscribe button. It's in between Fantasy Alarm. If you click that join button, you're going to sign up for a $4.99 a month premium access. And what that does is that gets all of your questions immediately bumped to the top of the queue. Immediately bumped to the top. Not to mention the fact that we are throughout this season, we're probably going to be doing some like specialty shows just for our members, things like DFS lineup construction or special lineup preview shows that we want to do. We've got all the public stuff out there. We will be doing more stuff for membership, but let's face facts. You're sitting there on Sunday morning and you're trying to figure out what you want to do for your lineup, and there are 1,000
right.
people sitting there watching the stream and asking all their questions. You want to be promoted to
we couldn't get through all of them this week. It's a lot that come in, and people like Rob Fossil and Hope that are members, they got all their questions answered. Simple as that. So support us and we'll support you.
We couldn't get Thursday's questions answered like during a daytime set. We couldn't get all of Thursday in there. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it is super flex. So in that case, I would spend up. If you lost Joe Burrow, then you got to go out and try and get another quarterback. So I would go after Jamar. I would go after Jake Browning. The thing about Browning is that we haven't. The downside is we haven't seen him since 2023. But in those 7 games where he started, he actually averaged 19.8 points per game. Now, you can't just translate that and just say, okay, that's what he's going to do. He's going to come in and give you 20 points a game, which is like a top 6 quarterback in fantasy. But at least we've seen a sample size of him running this offense. He's been there for this entire time. It's not like he's just some guy off the street. He's part of the team. He knows all the plays. So I don't think it's that crazy, especially in Superflex. But Dimes is the guy I'm going for first and foremost. But definitely Jake Browning is a guy to consider, especially if you're streaming. If you missed a guy for this week, because it's still the Bengals. They're not going to change what they do. They're going to go out there and chuck the ball around. So I'm definitely looking at that one. Brian is Jalen Hurts, but not happy with his passing, which is non-existent. Who's a better waiver pickup, Danny Indiana Jones or Jared Goff? Okay.
Oh, the Indiana Jones stuff has got to stop.
I kind of like it.
It's got to stop. No, because the problem is that people are going to sit there and they're going to start like hitting you up. Who should I start this week? Goff or Indiana? Right? I mean, it's not. I mean,
and I'll know what they're talking about.
Let them settle in with the Danny Dimes stuff here, as opposed to like calling him Indiana Jones. People, let's put the brakes on that.
Okay, well, Goff or Dimes?
I mean, I'm doing Daniel Jones.
Me too.
I'm definitely doing Daniel Jones. Again, it's the rushing upside. Goff had a great game. He had a great game. But let's also face facts. The Bears secondary was a hot mess. They were coming in and playing at home where Jared Goff traditionally plays well. And they were all amped up to show up, Ben Johnson and the rest of that crew. So do yourself a favor and invest in Daniel Jones and get that rushing upside.
Absolutely. I loved Ben Johnson's answer too. When they asked him about it, they were like, "You think they're running up the score?" And he was like, "Do you know Dan Campbell?" He's like, "That's what they do." He goes, "The play is always to go for it in that situation. They're never going to kick a field goal at that point. Like, that's just what they've always done." So he's like, no love lost. We got to stop him. What you do with Travion Henderson? Stash him. That's what we're doing with Henderson. It's what we're doing with RJ Harvey. It's what we're doing with all these rookies. That's the deal with rookies. Rookie Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't break out until week 11. We're hoping that these guys can carve out a role and do something, but you drafted them for a reason because you believe they're talented. You believe they can carve out a role. We're holding on to them. And, we saw Mike Vrabel this week even mentioned the deep pass that Ramondre Stevenson caught this week. That was actually a play in practice that Travion Henderson caught in practice earlier year. It just happened to be Henderson who was in the game. So you hang tight with those guys. Rookies sometimes take a little while to get a gig going. Traded Jaden and Bucky for Bijan and Egbuka, 10-team half PPR. Jaden Daniels and Bucky Irving for Bijan and Egbuka. I think anytime I can trade away a quarterback in a single QB league, I do that.
Yeah, as long as it's a single QB league. Yeah, absolutely. I think that, listen, I like Bucky Irving. I think a lot of people are starting to overreact. And, I've already seen it on Twitter here with the Rachaad White usage yesterday. First and foremost, people, stop fluffing Baker Mayfield and Rachaad White after that last drive. If you want to know who the real hero was, it was either Bucky Irving or the crap Houston defense. Like Bucky Irving on that 22-yard catch and run where nobody tackled him, that's what set up all those plays. He did all the legwork, and then Rachaad White comes in for that garbage touchdown at the end. Was just, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Even somebody hit me up on Twitter telling me that, the Bucky Irving, Rachaad White split, that's great, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? You were probably that same person who was in on Zach Charbonnet after week 1. Like,
true.
Stop.
But like Bucky Irving, if you're actually like looking at the numbers and going behind the scenes and pulling them up, Bucky Irving actually played over the last 2 weeks his highest percentage of snaps that he's ever played. More than last year. He played 76% of the snaps week 1, came out this week and played like 75 again, right? It's like he's playing plenty. Rachaad White is just a streamer at best if you need him. And again, Rachaad White's not even catching as many passes as he was last year. So don't worry about him. Bucky Irvin's still locked in. Marion Hampton for DK. Good deal. 2 players we don't really have a lot of. But
I mean, again, here's the thing. If you're using DK Metcalf to start and you're just going to lock him into your starting lineup, okay, go ahead, because you're clearly not going to be patient with Amari and Hampton, which is something that Coop literally just said about Trevion Henderson. If we knew Najee Harris was there, we knew there was going to be some sort of a split. The coaches told you there was going to be some sort of a split. Now, to me, Omarion Hampton has the talent and the ability to become the number one. Absolutely. And that's going to happen over time. Right now, everybody's like, oh, the Chargers are going to run. The Chargers are going to run. The Chargers are going to run. Guess what? The Chargers are throwing right now.
Right.
Chargers will run. Like everybody's coming at them trying to stop the run right now because that's what the scouting told them to do. That's when Harbaugh and Roman are going to be like, screw it, let's just keep slinging the rock because that's what's working right now. And once all of a sudden secondaries start picking up, they're just going to grind it on the ground. So if you're going to use DK Metcalf as a regular guy, you're just locking him in as your wide receiver 3. Okay, go ahead. But, when Omarion Hampton come like week 8 or week 9 is like this stud seeing, a 75% snap share and 75% workload, can't complain about it.
That's exactly it, Bender. That's exactly it. Like if you need Metcalf to be like your wide receiver 2, sure, go for it. But if we're talking about your flex or your bench where we're just kind of looking for upside, you got to hold on to Hampton because the guy is awesome. He's drafted in the first round for a reason. I see a lot of questions here. We're going to do trades tomorrow in full on the show tomorrow. We do trades in DFS tomorrow. We do start sits on Thursday. And a lot of these questions, even the ad drops I'm seeing, we're going to get to them anyway on the show. So we might as well jump in. We're keep throwing questions in there. We'll definitely hit on them. But why don't we jump in and talk about some of these positions and what we're doing at waivers. Got to do quarterback first because people are reeling. I mean, how many injuries was it, Bender? We had Joe Burrow. Jaden Daniels might be out. What's the story with your guy Fields?
Fields is in concussion protocol, so we're just gonna have to kind of wait and see on that front there. And at least it's not a Thursday game, but again, we've seen it in enough spots there where a lot of players don't clear concussion protocol after that first week. So you're going to have to watch that closely. JJ McCarthy is definitely out 2 to 4 weeks with an ankle injury. Daniels is he's questionable, right? He's day to day. It's a sprained knee. They're going to see what he looks like with a brace on. But I'll say this though, when you're looking at Jaden Daniels with a brace on his knee, kind of makes me a little concerned because why? Is he going to run? Are they going to send him with that, or does he run a little bit of a risk? And then obviously Joe Burrow done for 3 months. So let's hit quarterbacks, man. I mean, there's a ton of good guys, who are available to you depending on whether or not you want somebody for right now. What did I say at the end of the video? Everybody's looking for Mr. Right when Mr. Right now is waiting for you on the corner of waivers and desperation.
Right.
So do yourself a favor and figure out what you want. If you want a long-term guy, we've got long-term guys. Trevor Lawrence, Geno Smith, Matthew Stafford. Great job security for sure. But if you're looking for like a streamer for this week, you got some definitely great names out there.
It's Dan. I mean, the guy that we've been so this is actually my third waiver wire article because we do one kind of a week 0 before week 1, and then we do one after week 1, and now we have one this week. We've been telling you, Daniel Jones he's got the upside because he runs. All we need him to do is run 5 times a game. He's been doing that, but he's actually also been throwing the ball well. So Daniel Jones needs to be your priority regardless. All right. We mentioned earlier, Jake Browning, he is an option. Like, definitely not the sexiest option. Don't expect him to go out and score 20 fantasy points per game like he did in 2023. But, he's got the weapons. They have the scheme. He's definitely a guy that you got to look at, especially if you lost Joe Burrow, because if you're going to throw Joe Burrow in an IR spot, you can start Browning, and then when Burrow's back, it coincides exactly. That's why we do like the handcuffs to line up like that because you can play it that way. For streamers, there's definitely some options. Mac Jones looked great last week against the Saints, right? 3 touchdown passes. So he's an option against the Cardinals. But also, Sam Darnold's going to play that same Saints team, and he looked pretty good this week, throwing for almost 300 yards, a couple touchdowns. Those guys are out there. And the deep stashes, it's the same names. It's kind of Ben, right, Bender? It's like Jackson Dart, and this is probably more super flex or things like that. Jackson Dart, Spencer Rattler's out there firing the ball around, but who knows there. I'm at this stage, Anthony Richardson's not even a stash for him because of how well Daniel Jones is playing. So, I mean, there's not much out there. Do you have any interest in picking up like Mariota or Wentz or any of these guys?
No. See, that's the thing. Like, because I've gone through this here. I wrote my article in the New York Post is going to publish about the quarterbacks. The Weekly Bender, I kind of cite certain things. Browning, the video that I have posted on Fantasy Alarm YouTube page.
Right.
I'm not interested in Browning. I'm not interested in Wentz. For season long fantasy,
Yeah.
will I think about, John and Pemba already sent me a DraftKings lineup with the Wentz Jefferson, kind of tandem in there. So, I mean, min price DFS is one thing, but no, I mean, I'm not interested in Browning. I'm not interested in Wentz. I'm not interested in Mariota, and I'm certainly not interested in Tyrod Taylor.
And
So,
now, are you with me though? If you're in like Superflex and everybody's owned
well, yeah,
of
then
those
you have
guys,
to.
it's Browning of those guys.
Yeah, out of those guys, yeah, it's definitely Browning first, and then you're probably looking at Wentz second.
Yeah, probably 1 second. Yep.
You
Okay,
know,
I feel the same. Yeah, but you're
but
right. It's go with in any sort of league where like Daniel Jones or any of the guys you mentioned, like Trevor Lawrence, if they're out there, go that way because those guys are established and we know what we're getting. We know what we're
yeah.
getting.
I
So,
went I went looking at ownership percentages, right? Because you got to kind of check that out. And I was looking at the guys who are less than 50% owned across Yahoo and ESPN. So yeah, if you're looking, Lawrence, Stafford, Geno Smith, these are guys who have good job security. And you're going to be able to utilize them not just for this week, but the week before. Daniel Jones is the priority. If he's out there, that's your number one
and
call.
he's 19% on Yahoo, 22% on ESPN, 35% on Sleeper. I am personally insulted by those numbers because he's been the hottest player in football for 2 weeks now. Get those numbers up. All right, running back ads here.
One name that you did not mention that I just want to drop in there, and that is Michael Penix. He's
Yes.
he's out there, available on the wire, going up against Carolina. I know we run against Carolina, but they've still given up, like 200 yards per game through the air, and their secondary is just getting tested constantly. So Penix is also probably a worthy streamer.
Yeah, good call. And we saw for health wise, anyone concerned, 100% route participation for Drake London, 100% route participation for Darnell Mooney, 100% route participation for Kyle Pitts. And they use Charlie Warner a ton, who doesn't really catch the ball ever. So nice and consolidated over there. Love to see that. For the running back ads, if he's out there, we have to mention, because again, we try to look for under 50%. Bashal Tootin is out there. He's rostered in 50% on many spots, but you got to look to him first. I think you got to look to him first. Trey Benson also should be rostered in your league. He's at least getting the pass down work, which is nice. I think the biggest name for me that's available in a lot of leagues that we have to give a look is Woody Marks. Last night, they made Damian Pierce inactive. He got a carry on the first drive. He got a bunch of carries on the second drive. And he caught the biggest thing for me is he caught that pass for 37 yards. Dare Ogunbowale is a guy that he's a replacement level player. So even if Chubb remains the starter, I think Woody Marks is going to find a way into one of these two roles. So there's not a lot of guys that could outright take over a gig. He's a guy. He's a guy. So Tootin, Marks, and Benson are up top for me. For streamers, you kind of alluded to it. Tyler Algier, he's always available in about 65% of leagues. They're going to play the Panthers. He's gotten double-digit carries in each week so far this year. So, like, he's definitely on the streaming radar against the Panthers. Justice Hill in full PPR against the Lions. Sometimes they have to throw a little more. He's out there. I wanted to ask you about these two, Bender. If you had to pick between these two players, Jeremy McNichols with Austin Eckler now out, or Kenneth Gainwell, who kind of already has a pass down role. If you had to pick between those two guys, which one do you like better? Because I've been going back and forth.
What was Gainwell's usage this past week? It was like
It went down a
really
little bit.
wasn't there.
So Caleb Johnson played 2 offensive snaps.
Right.
Gainwell played some pass down snaps, but on the 2-minute drill, they were in it for so long that they actually put Gainwell in, but then they put Warren back in. So Warren got a bunch more snaps on pass downs than he did in week 1. So yeah, it wasn't as good for Gainwell as you would think, which we don't even know what McNichols is going to be like, but it's one of those ones where it's like, does he have more upside than Gainwell?
Well, because he's got I mean, listen, they both have veteran presence there, but Jalen Warren is sitting in front of Gainwell. You've got Krosky Merritt sitting in front of McNichols, and Krosky Merritt is unproven also.
Mhm.
So I think there's a cleaner path to touches for Jeremy McNichols with Eckler gone now. So I'd rank him McNichols first, then Gainwell second.
Right. Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt receptions on the season through 2 games, 0.
I mean, there's
So
some guys that it just, like Jordan Mason was like that with San Francisco, right? I mean,
mhm.
everybody was like, oh, he's replacing Christian McCaffrey, but, he still didn't get the passing work that, McCaffrey used to get. So you just have to understand that that's kind
It's
of
in
what
the range of
happens with
outcomes.
some guys.
Alfred Morris, LeGarrette Blount, Jeremy Hill. We've seen it a
Yeah.
million times. Some guys, dude, not everybody can catch. So it's simple as that. For stashes, Woody Marks is the number one stash for me. And then we're just doing what we've been doing. Tajay Spears, if you have an IR spot. And then we're looking at the guys that play the most snaps as starters, and we grab their backups. So if Jonathan Taylor is going to play 85% of the snaps, DJ Giddens is a guy that has the most upside if he gets hurt. Same with Blake Corum behind Kyron Williams. If Kyron Williams is going to play 80% of the snaps, and he goes down, the next guy typically inherits a pretty big role. So stash wise, same names. Anybody else out there? Those are kind of the guys we're looking at.
No, that's kind of where we're at. The running back position is surprisingly strong.
It's
I'm
good
not
news.
buying into the Rashad White stuff, just so that anybody
No,
out there knows. I'm not, somebody's going to ask about Rashad White. Again, I think that this is, it's early season. You guys have to understand that these coaches don't want to just slam their running backs right from day one.
no.
Right. I mean, you're going to get some guys that are going to see the 20 to 25 carries on the regular. Those are your premium featured backs. But when you're looking a little deeper into it, you have to understand that these guys are going to utilize the majority of their weapons. It's almost like little league to start the first 2 games, the 2-3 weeks of the season, where it's not so much that everybody gets to play, but why am I gonna run this running back here, with a 90% snap share, right? If I have this other guy who can take 25 to 30% of the snaps and ease the burden, right? I mean, if the shit comes down, I'm going with my main guy. But
Yep.
if we're just kind of, easing our way into the season and we're up or competitive or whatever, I'm going to want to try and keep some fresh legs to start the year. We
Yep.
see it every single year. So that's why you
You know
guys
what
got
we
to be
just saw?
patient.
You know, we just saw the perfect example of that, Bender, is with our guy Chuba. Because week 1, they were like, okay, we're going to use Rico Dowdle on a couple pass plays or whatever, ease him in a little bit. But then this past week, when the game was on the line against the Cardinals, they just rolled with Chuba because it was like, okay, we're in this game, we're competing, we're going to roll with our number one guy. And Chuba got all the 2-minute drill snaps. He got the pass down snaps. He got 7 of them to only 4 for Rico. So, like you said, if you can ease guys in, great. But when push comes to shove, the best guy's going to play. So simple as that.
Cream always rises to the top, peoples.
Yeah.
Always rises.
Couple quick questions because we didn't hit on him after the quarterback talk. Burrow, he has Burrow. Pick up Danny Dimes or Goff. We said Danny Dimes.
Yep.
Would you rather have Bo Nix or Drake May rest of the season? That's an interesting one. I think
Yeah, I
it
mean,
might
I don't
still be
like the
May.
whole rest of season questions at this point right now. They're very similar players right now. They're very similar players. They both have good weapons. It's a matter of whose offense do you believe in, whose schedule is a little softer. I'll say that Drake May's schedule is definitely softer than Denver's schedule, simply because you're playing the Jets and the Dolphins, twice twice this year, and those teams are terrible. I think if I had to pick one over the other, I've been a Bo Nix guy all season. I'm going to stay with Bo Nix, but it's super close between these two guys.
Yeah,
Pick whoever you want to root for.
I'd stick with it that way. That's how we had it ranked. And I'm a big Drake May guy, but Bo Nix just more established, and we know what the direction they're going in over there. Should I drop Purdy and just roll with Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones as my QBs? In a single QB league, I would do that. If it's
Yes.
2 quarterbacks or super flex, you can't drop Purdy. Those guys don't end up on the wire often. Good transition here into the wide receiver talk. We've got Greg Martinez asking, is Alec Ayamanar a good stash? For me,
No. I don't want to answer this question because spelling counts. Annoy
Mayor.
Mayor? I mean, come on, Greg, what are you doing here? This is like
The
this is
Annoy
like
Mayor.
when somebody calls up and they're like, Luke McConkley or Luke McDonkey.
Oh my
Right?
god! I just saw such a funny one that Mina Kimes just retweeted. Somebody was like dogging her like they always do, and the guy called her, tried to call her, say analysis, and they go anal cyst, and she just retweets. Brutal,
Oh, Mina.
brutal. Yes, but we have anointed him the mayor at least of waivers this week. Here's the situation: there's three top guys for me, and it you have to ask yourself how risk averse you are or not. But early in the season, we want a balance of consistency and upside, and that's so hard to find, right? It's so hard to find both. But with Elik Ayamanar, we have a rookie with a rookie quarterback, which those conditions are always create upside, especially as the season moves on. But we also have a guy that's playing a near full snap share. He's played more snaps, run more routes than Tyler Lockett in both games. This past week, he ran 30. Lockett only ran 20. He's right there behind Calvin Ridley as the top wide receiver. And he went out and he got 6 targets again. First week he got 7. This week he actually caught a bunch of them, 56 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he right now for me, he's the best combination of having a meaningful and consistent role and also having that rookie upside goodness that comes along. So for me, he's number one. But very close behind him is Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin, week one, all last year, no wide receiver played more than 60% of the snaps besides Cortland Sutton for the entire year. On the season, the top guy played like 53%. Week one, nobody did again. Troy Franklin was at 59%. This week, he came out and played over 90% of the snaps. He actually played more snaps than Cortland Sutton, got a bunch of targets, scored the touchdown. I mean, and this is a guy that played with Bo Nix at Oregon. So, he only has the 1 game sample size, which is kind of a difference maker for me. Would you lean into the upside of Franklin here, or would you go with the guy that's got a 2 game sample size bender with Iamnar? It's
Oh, I
tough,
definitely
tough
go with
question.
Ayemanar
Me too.
over Troy Franklin. I
Yeah,
listen. I think Troy Franklin's fine, but he is also, yes, there's a rapport, but he is the Z receiver. There's no way that Cortland Sutton. They just signed Cortland Sutton to a 3-year contract
right,
extension. Follow the money, people. Follow the money.
right,
They're going to utilize him for sure. It's early in the season. There's panic, and everybody wants to do it, right? But I mean, think about what we were looking at in week one with Troy Franklin. Were we all in on Troy Franklin in week one? But he
right,
gets into the end zone in week two, and suddenly the masses are all over him. So,
right,
you just have to be careful with moves like that. It's like everybody, asking, on waivers, do I drop this guy and pick up this guy? If you have a spot on your bench that you're willing to just churn over week in, week out until you hit on a flavor of the week, then do you, right? I don't work my waivers like that. I don't work my bench like that. I will add a guy like Ayamanar who's seen 13 targets in the first 2 games, and we know that they're building something over there. He's got that role.
right.
Can't say that I'm not locked in on Troy Franklin as much as I am on Ayamanar. Now, if you've got a dead spot on your bench and you're like, well, I just don't, I don't want this guy, I don't need this guy, then fine, then go ahead and make that switch. But you gotta be picky and choosy, and you
Right.
gotta sit and really figure out how you want to run your bench. If you just want to go willy-nilly and just, blow that waiver priority on the regular, use up all your fab and try and hit on one of these guys early, that's fine. But just keep in mind that you're probably going to drop somebody who could develop further on down the road, somebody that you drafted in the 13th, the 14th, the 15th round, right? Somebody like Jadon Blue. Do we really believe that much in Javonte Williams that we're willing to just toss Jaden Blue aside?
True.
I don't know yet.
Right. And that's a perfect example here from Jerry. I mean, I'm holding on to Golden because he's the
Yeah.
first round pick upside play for the Packers. They just lost Jaden Reed to a collarbone, which is usually a long-term loss. I'm sticking with the upside with Golden, unless, I mean, if the player goes directly into your lineup, then you got to do what you got to do. and you got to play it based on weekly rankings if we're talking about a starting spot. But as a bench stash, I'm still holding on to Golden. The third top ad for me, this is full PPR. We got to give some respect to Wando Robinson at this stage. I mean, if the guy's going to come out and get 8 targets, he got 140 targets last year, and we were like, okay, whatever. But now he's got 18 targets through 2 weeks. And now it's like, okay, well, this guy's clearly doing something that deserves targets. And for me, if Bashal Tutin's out there, I'm spending up on him. At wide receiver this week, I'm kind of sitting back and I'm saying, okay, if all three of Ayamanar, Troy Franklin, Wando Robinson are out there, I'm just going to throw 5, 10, 15% at all of them and just take whoever comes to me. I'm not going to overspend on any one particular guy. I'm kind of playing the field here and say, you know what? I'm happy with whoever I get of this crew. But that's how I rank them. Ayamanar, Franklin, Wandale. For streamers, you can always go to the Cedric Tillman well if he's there. We've been using him a ton. He leads the league in routes run, Bender, over 2 weeks. That's the Joe Flacco experience. Rashad Bateman versus Detroit. Detroit plays a ton of man-to-man, a ton. This could be a shootout. And with these man-to-man guys, they're willing there's acceptable losses that you can have with man-to-man. Every once in a while, a guy gets loose. Bateman could be that guy. And then Romeo Doubs is a guy. I mean, we've been talking about it. He's the top wide receiver for the team. He plays a ton of snaps. Jaden Reed is now out. He's out there in I don't think on any of the 3 platforms, Bender, he's owned in more than 25% of any league. So he's widely available for people. Would you go Doubs or Bateman if you were just throwing a 1 week dart?
I'd probably go with Dobbs right now.
So
I mean,
too.
Bateman's still sitting there behind Zay Flowers. You still have the tight end targets. DeAndre Hopkins is getting a lot of play right now, which is something to pay attention to. Dobbs is just, I mean, he's just a good, he's got a good floor. He's reliable. He's very underrated. We've seen the 2 touchdown games from him. He's got the rapport with Jordan Love. He's the X receiver. Even the team has turned around and said that. So, yeah.
4 or 5 targets. 4 or 5 targets a week. So he's a good streamer. For stashes, I'm still looking at Christian Kirk just because, dude, no one is emerging from that group of guys after Nico Collins, right? It's like Xavier Hutchinson's playing all these snaps. The rookies aren't doing anything. I'm gonna hold on to Kirk, see if he can get some work in. I'm looking at Calvin Austin as not a guy I want to start, but he's just playing a bunch of snaps, and eventually those guys start getting looks. And then if I have an IR spot, I might throw Ayuk if he's out there in there. Jalen Coker is a guy who, Xavier Legette looks kind of bad. So, I mean, a lot of those guys looking kind of rough. So I'm going there. We do have a super chat question here. We're going to move that right up to the top as we do. So Alan wants to know, Alan Donahue, this is a start sit. Again, we do start sits usually on Thursday, but if you do a super chat, then we do whatever you want. So Ricky Parasol or Marvin Harrison Jr.
Dance, monkey, dance.
That's right, dude. Make me a bicycle clown. Yes, for sure, though. Absolutely. So week 3, Ricky Parasol or Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison was one of my he had a great week 1, certainly disappointed me in week 2. But I'm still going there. I still think that he's going to be just fine. But would you go Parasol? Who also he looked pretty good with Mac Jones.
He does look fine with Mac Jones, but I'm going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. I love the matchup here, and you just kind of look at where we're at. Look at that secondary for San Francisco. Aside from Diamador Lenore, I don't really think there's anybody in that secondary who I really like or trust all that much. So I mean, losing Hufanga as a safety, I think is just it was just such a big deal, I think, for San Francisco that they really haven't replaced him. So I'm going to take Marvin Harrison against the 49ers secondary.
Yeah, and I will say this about the Panthers. They're actually becoming one of those teams that is oddly not a good start for wide receiver ones because they're so bad against the run, but they do have JC Horn that it's like teams playing them are just going to take the path of least resistance. You saw it this week. Why would you throw up against JC Horn when you can just run all over these guys? Same with Brian Thomas Jr. It's like the Jaguars are running for 200 yards. And, it's like it's a very specific situation that is going to be annoying because in your mind, it's like, oh, yeah, start them against the Panthers. But they do have one really good corner. And that was a problem this week for Marv. So I'm sticking with what we've been doing with the Marvster. That's about it for me with streamers and stashes. There's definitely guys to add this week at wide receiver. Last week we weren't going too crazy. This week, if you're hurting, Iamnar, Franklin, Wandale are definitely guys to be looking at. The tight end position, Bender, it's still Juwan Johnson as the number one guy for me. The number two guy for me, I am nervous for Harold Fannin long term. Just the fact that he's not running more routes than Njoku. They both got the same targets. The wide receivers got more targets. It's I don't know. It would be nice if Njoku got traded to a better team. That would be great.
I think where we're at right now, because I did look at a breakdown there, and Njoku played more snaps. They saw the same number of targets. Fannin actually ran routes, a higher percentage of routes per snap than Njoku did. So Njoku was definitely doing a little bit more blocking than Fannin was. But there's just, to your point there about the wide receiver seeing the more targets, both these guys are sharing snaps. I wanted full Smugnado yesterday, and I just couldn't bring it because, while Mac Jones absolutely dominated exactly as I thought he was going to, because it's a system, I had to say the jury's still out here on Fan, and it was a 50-50 split between him and Njoku. So you were still better off taking Juwan Johnson at a discounted price for what Fannin was costing people.
Yeah, and I did not. I mean, we saw a couple snaps of Dylan Gabriel, which you don't want to see it. We do not. We want Flacco.
Yeah,
right. Flacco can support the volume. If you want the safe but boring option off the wire, it's Chigakonkwo. Guy played 88% of the snaps week 1, 76% this last week. Caught 4 of 4 targets week 1. This past week, he got 6 targets. I mean, 10 targets over the first couple weeks, like safe, reliable, and he also quietly has 97th percentile speed for the position. Runs the same 40 time as George Kittle. So guys like that can do a little bit more with less on breakaways. For streamers, Chig's my number one streamer in terms of availability, followed by Jake Tonjes. I mean, you called it, Howard. You were like, hey, you know what? Somebody's got to run these routes. I know Luke Farrell took the touchdown, but
caught the touchdown. That's what everybody wants to see, right? They don't look at targets or snaps, Coop. They only want to see touchdowns.
He ran way more routes. He ran like double the routes of Luke. So shout out to him, but that's like Charlie Warner catching a touchdown pass. It's just he's the blocking tight end. It happens. Darnell Washington caught a touchdown pass. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So Jake Tonjes.
I was so disappointed in Jonnu Smith for not getting that ball, right?
I know.
I was hoping that he was going to lead that team in touches inside the 5.
I know, man. Jonnu's he's on the streaming radar, but they're being so weird with those tight ends. The routes run was equal for Freiermuth and Jonnu. They both got 4 targets. It's a nightmare. It's the Arthur Smith's house of tight end horrors. For stashes, I'm not going crazy to stash Isaiah Likely, but Mark Andrews looked pretty bad. So maybe we'll actually get a full-time Likely that's actually going to turn the corner and take on that role. Darren Waller, I mean, the Dolphins are very close. Well, here's the thought process there is that Johnny Smith ran 70% of his routes from a wide receiver spot. The Dolphins might just blow it up and trade Tyreek Hill for anything. Who knows? Like, you could have just end up with garbage time Waller situation over there. So it's like deep leagues, maybe. And the best tight end handcuff doesn't need to be rostered, but just know the name Elijah Higgins. This guy is getting he's actually running some routes this year. And last year when Trey McBride went down, he didn't put up a bunch of numbers, but he did get the snaps. And he's going to leapfrog Tip Ryman into that pass catching role if anything happens to Trey McBride. In leagues like Scott Fishbowl or something crazy deep, I'm rostering him because the handcuff upside of a player like that is pretty big. So Ann has a question here. Needs a tight end. Muth, Fant, Komet, Tonjes are the only ones on the wire.
I mean, I'd go Tonjes at this point.
I'd go Tonjes too. Yeah. Jatavian Sanders, fun option, man. And I liked the thing is about this week is you kind of got to take again, I'm a Jatavian Sanders guy, so I would love to victory lap. 10 targets. They played 85 offensive snaps this week. That is so far above average. Average is 63. So they played an insane number of offensive snaps. Everybody got 10 targets on the team. So I do like Jatavian Sanders. He did play a little more than he did week 1, but the Tommy Trembles of the world are kind of still sticking it to us a little bit, Bender. I blame you.
Not sticking it to us. Sticking it to you.
I blame you entirely for that.
That's
because
fine.
you wish that evil on
I
us.
did not wish that evil. I was just merely stating a fact that he existed.
But Jatavian Sanders got 10 targets last week, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, you can definitely get him a little bit of a look see there. Kendra Miller will remain my stashy boy. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. He's the RB2 over there, and Kamara, he's an older back. So having the RB2 behind older backs is never a crazy idea. Never a crazy idea. Fatty McFats, Daniel Jones, all the fab,
I
some
don't
of
know
it.
about all the fab. Most of the fab.
He said he lost Joe Burrow. Mac Jones. I would go Daniel Jones over Mac Jones. Daniel Jones over Mac Jones, but hey, you got to get somebody. Rico Dowdle is absolutely dropping your 14-team league. He was holding on to the smallest role and then lost it in terms of like having a carved out role. He has no discernible role. He plays when Chuba is dog tired, and that's it. So that's it there. Let's see. Tyquan Thornton out of KC. What's y'all thoughts? The thing about stashing guys is like, what are you going to stash him for one day until Worthy gets back? He's really only a DFS dart throw, Millie. Really only a DFS dart throw if you're just trying to hit on like he could have a long touchdown. That's it. He did. So there you go. DST, last this is what we've been doing with defense is that like we've been playing matchups. If you got the Cardinals, just ride with them. If you got the Seahawks last week, we told you number one ad was on the article last week was the Seahawks, and they got 3 sacks and 2 interceptions and a touchdown against Aaron Rodgers. This week they get the Saints. So if you did that last week, just stick with that. If they're out there, maybe go there. Same thing with the Patriots. I mean, now the Patriots get to play Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Rodgers is handing out sacks like Brett Favre did to Michael Strahan. You know what I mean? He's just lying down on the ground if anyone comes close to him. So the Patriots versus Pitt, and the reason the Patriots are a good one is that they get Carolina the next week. So we're kind of looking 1 week ahead too and saying, okay, yeah, if I'm going to add a defense and start them, can I at least start them next week with the Patriots? You can. With the Buccaneers as the last option versus the Jets, you can start them this week, especially if Justin Fields is out, but you're not going to start them the following week against the Eagles. So it's kind of they're out there, but it's only a 1 week play.
I would look at Atlanta also taking on Carolina this week. And
They look good.
next week they've got the Commanders, so kind of monitor what Jaden Daniels, leg is like. If his knee is messed up at all in any way, then using Atlanta against Marcus Mariota is always a fun play.
Oh yeah, I mean Atlanta, dude, they got some good players, man. Jesse Bates is awesome, dude. Like, I don't know, Dan Malin is definitely in. I know he's a bit biased, but he's been touting that defense for a while now. I think he might be right. For kicker, kind of the same thing, right? We were saying Tyler Loop. If you grabbed him, great, roll with him for the Ravens. Matt Prater is just hitting every single kick he's kicking. And all these guys are missing kicks all over the place. Matt Prater, 3 for 3, 3 extra points. He gets the Dolphins this week. I mean, I'm starting him in one spot. I'm shocked that he's under 20% owned in like every league. So go grab him. Then I'm just using kind of the kickers for good teams, especially if they have good matchups. So Brandon McManus, kicker for the Packers. Dude, Packers are great. So McManus is their kicker. They're playing the Browns. That's going to be points, right? There's something there. So that's about it for us on the kicker and defense front. Probably the most elaborate kicker and defense segment you ever get from us. So that's what we're rocking here. Tomorrow, guys, we're going to be answering all your trade questions. We're going to be doing DFS, and we're going to be drafting a drafters draft with the family. So I see a bunch of you guys in the chat that have never drafted with us before. If you want to draft with us, send me a message. I mean, send a message in the chat here. Send me a message on Twitter at Coupe Fiasco. Hit me up in the Discord. We're letting new people get the priority to come in and draft with us and get your team up on the screen and your name on the screen here. And maybe like Sigma Chi last week, you win and you get all the accolades and the money. So it's just a $10 draft. Takes about 15 minutes. We're going to pick just a lineup for this week. So hit me up on that. We'll get you in. We're doing a draft tomorrow at 1 p.m. to start the show, and then Thursday, 1 p.m. to start the show. If you're not set up at Drafters yet, go over to fantasyalarm.com/draftersbb, or just go hit the QR code or go over to their site and use promo code ALARM. they'll match 100% of your deposit up to $100, so you can get going. I do mind losing to you guys, Dennis. I came in second place, and it bothered me. I love to see you win, but I do like to win myself. So we're not going to take it easy on you guys. But jump in there, draft with us. We're going to let new people get the priority, and then don't worry, we're going to get the regulars in there too. So anything else to add on that front, Bender, before we get everybody out of here?
No, I'm good. I'm good. You done?
That's it.
That's it. No more questions. You finished with these peoples?
I mean, there's some questions here. I guess we could
You
hit
got
on.
4 minutes, baby. Come on.
Yeah, streaming defenses. We already hit on those.
Yeah.
Gordon 2, drop or hold. Ollie Gordon.
I mean, it depends. Okay, so always if you're going to submit a question, tell us who you're going to add. Like, don't just blindly drop a player for who. Like, is there a purpose behind this move? Is there a need? So if there's not, then no. But if there is, then yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you don't just drop guys to drop guys. But I mean, Ollie Gordon is definitely not exactly a guy you can't drop. Let's put it that way. JJ McCarthy looks like he's struggling. Should I drop Addison for waiver pickup and try and get a trade? Nah,
No.
I keep Addison, man, because he's the upside's there. He's a good player. I'm not going to drop him for like Iamnar. You know what I mean? We're talking about the thing about Iamnar is that we like him, but he's still a 4th round rookie. Like if this was a 1st round rookie that was going crazy, then maybe you get a little more excited. But he's playing with a rookie QB and all that. Not that crazy. Late to the party. What's your thoughts on Worthy returning and thoughts on Fannin after seeing more of his role? Worthy is a guy that when he's back, I'm going to play him because he's explosive. He runs a 4.29. He should have an awesome role, at least until Rashee Rice gets back, but probably still when Rice gets back. Travis Kelce, I moved Travis Kelce down to the yin section of the yin and yang tight end rankings. Anyone's looking for that, the Fantasy Alarm waiver article has that in the bottom. We have a streamers and stashes article that's just for members. No better time to be a member than right now. I think if you become a member right now, not only do you get all the football goodness, but fantasy, there you go. We got a QR code for that too. Fantasy basketball and fantasy hockey both start within the next 30 calendar days. So if you become use promo code monthly25, get a discount on this first month. If you play any of those drafts, you get your help with your rankings. James Grande and John and Pemba are going to be crushing the basketball. I got Chris Murray and the gang are going to be helping you out with your hockey. I mean, if you're going to do 1 month, this is the month. And trust me, the DFS stuff and all that pays for itself. So get in over there, use promo code monthly25 or promo code YouTube, I believe will work for you right now. To get going with Fantasy Alarm. Join the family, get in on these drafts, get in on the Discord, on the watch party, all that. Let's see. Yeah, no hat 2 days in a row. I think that's a new record, Ethan. No, I wore a hat on yesterday's show. Record not broken. Last question. Is Howard really in Alaska?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
In Alaska.
So
what time did the game?
I don't have anything here to prove it to you, but 100% it is 10 o'clock in the morning here in Juneau, Alaska.
No proof, Chris. Might be an elaborate hoax. The fake move to Alaska, oldest trick in the book.
Fake move to Alaska, so I don't have to deal with anybody coming to visit me. That is in my realm of outcomes, I'm sure.
Oh my God, dude. You run into somebody at the grocery store that's like, you just were like, oh yeah, I can't play poker this week. And they're like, what are you doing? You're like, oh, I just dropped in to get some whoopie pies. Go back
I just flew down to the lower 48 just to pick something up real quick.
Yeah. What time did the Raiders game start for you yesterday?
6 o'clock. It was great.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
It was fantastic.
Dude, when they were dinking and dunking in that, it was after midnight. I was like, put me to sleep, kill me, dude. But I did watch the whole game.
It was beautiful. I finished watching that. Then I watched a little half-hour show with the missus, had a little dessert.
Living the dream.
Went to bed.
All right.
That was it.
All right. Last one here. We're going to do start sits, but we can't leave the Twitch gang hanging. Shout out Twitch gang, Twitch glasses for the gang. Pick one. Caleb Johnson, Samson, Tootin, or Algier. I mean, Caleb Johnson, man, 2 snaps on offense, basically lost the game by not knowing the kickoff rules. No chance am I holding him. It's Tootin, right? Rootin' tootin', pointin' shooting.
Rootin' tootin', absolutely, absolutely, and bonus points if you've got Keishon Booty on your roster as well, because if you've got Booty and Tootin', come on.
I know. No booty there. You and that booty. He just posted the roster. So, but yes, Tootin's the guy. All right, gang. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, hit me up if you want to draft with us tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We will be back with DFS and trade questions. Till then, we out here.
Adios, turd nuggets.
All right.
All right,
Rock and
dude.
roll.
I'll catch you. Time to rank every player, every
Have
format.
fun.
Yes. Let's get them up.